They were throwing on maybe a lipstick, a wig, and a dress, and being super like masculine, like annoyed about it. Meanwhile, I'm like gluing on lashes, putting on eyeshadow. The director did tell me like you have to pull it back. He was like, you have to calm down because you're looking like the daughters, and you need to look like a boy in a dress. And I was like, fine.
I am Kay Anderson, and you are listening to Lost Spaces, a podcast that mourns the death of queer nightlife. Every episode, I talk to a different person about a venue from their past, the memories they created there, and the people that they used to know. Spin was a multi-level 9,000 square foot super club in what was then called Chicago's Boystown district. Opening in the 90s, it quickly established itself as the place to go for cheap drinks, house music, and wet t-shirt competitions before closing in 2014. I caught up with Alexis P Bevels to find out about her first days in drag, serving drinks on roller skates, and being one of the founding members of the coolest gang in town. And I say this without the slightest hint of any sarcasm, the Drag Mafia. How does it work when you are a homebody who is also a drag queen?
Well, now, do you mean?
Well, just in general, yeah.
It's let's see. Well, it's after the gig is over, go right home. Don't have any drinks after. I mean, I've certainly done that. I have certainly had my nights where I stay out as long as I can. Usually at the beginning when I wasn't really working, I was kind of just trying to get into the drag scene. You know, you'd go out and you'd have drinks with friends and you'd maybe get to do a amateur contest here and there, and then you'd celebrate. Now it's more of a gig life, like go do the gig. Usually I'll have a few drinks because I like to host. I like to do, one of my things I do most is bingo. So I have some drinks while I do bingo, and then maybe I'll have one or two after, but I usually just go straight home, take the makeup off, get the shoes off as soon as possible.
But do the promoters not kind of have like a level of expectation that you kind of hang around and flirt with people? And
some places do. Yeah, some places do. Not many of the things that I get to work on. Yeah. I mean,
so most of the time when you're over there, like, can you go now? Is that what you mean?
No. Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, so sometimes, yeah, like if they're there to like host the evening, yeah, I'm expected to stay for a while. But then as soon as I am good to go, I'll usually leave. Well, that's why I'm a homebody, is because I'm so I can be like extroverted when I'm in drag and at the gigs, and I can, have a lot of that energy, and then I need to come home and be alone by myself so I can recharge.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm totally on the same page. I need some advice because with me, if I do that and I play a gig and then I'm leaving, I feel so guilty. Do you say goodbye to people or do you just disappear?
I'll usually say goodbye. Yeah, I'm thinking about in the instance of I do bingo a lot. So yeah, I'll usually, after it's done, I'll stay for one drink and right after it's done on my way to the bar, I'll just kind of walk around the room and just say bye, thank you. I mean, actually, luckily now that COVID is happening, you can't get too close to people. So I'll kind of wave. I'll say thank you for coming. And then I'll kind of make, do a round around the room. Thank you for coming. If anybody wants a picture, I don't say that, but if they do, that's an opportunity. And then I'll usually like sit with a friend or two, have a drink, and then I'll leave. But I don't feel bad for leaving. Like if you go and do your gig, if you do your job well, and they don't explicitly say like, we want you to stick around after, that's part of the gig, then don't feel bad about leaving. Do your gig well and then go home.
I'm just dripping with guilt about all sorts of things. So
me too. Don't do.
Okay.
Feel guilty about other stuff, like
Like what?
Like who you are on the inside. But don't feel guilty about.
I mean, could I feel any more guilty about that? Like, how do I amp
I know.
that up?
I know. Oh, we're two peas in a pod, aren't we? Yeah. That kind of helps. Is like I already feel like a piece of shit. Not to get deep, but like I did my job well. I'm gonna go home. If you need me to stay longer, you can pay me more. That's where I am.
Well, that's the best attitude. I think like it's not even like restricted to gigs. Like if I'm at a party, if I'm anywhere where there's other people, I just feel like I'm letting people down if I leave. But actually, they're probably super relieved, right?
Well, they probably. I mean, not to say this about you specifically, but in general, I think probably people don't even notice. Everyone is so not, and that's not shade. Truly, I think everyone is just as wrapped up in their personal stuff as you are. So I have the same thing. I'll text, my best friend, and she won't respond, and I'll be like, oh my God, she's mad at me. I have let her down in some way, and then 2 hours later, she's like, oh, I was taking a nap. I love you. What's up? You know what I mean? It's like you do that to yourself. Don't do it.
So people aren't devastated when I leave then? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And actually I have talked to all your friends. They wanted me to tell you. Yeah.
well, thanks for letting me down gently.
You're welcome.
I do appreciate it.
No. You're talking about in social settings, right?
I'm just talking about in all settings, really.
I
struggle to get off the bus. Because I worry that everyone's going to be upset.
I worry that everyone's mad that I'm there in the first place. So I figure if I can just get out quickly and quietly, that's best for everybody.
Oh, good. No one look at me. Just ignore me. I'm not here.
Don't perceive me. Don't look at me. I don't exist. I don't have pronouns.
Yeah, we are two peas in a pod. Yeah. So, drag. You practiced at home, you learned your craft, and then you started... LOL? Why are we saying LOL?
Because I did not practice at home.
Oh, okay. So where did you practice? On the bus?
I didn't practice. I thought, I'm a theater actor. I am the shit. I can throw on a dress and a wig. I can try to do my makeup. And I'm just going to go for it. And yeah, that's what I did. The first thing I ever did was at Roscoe's. And then I would kind of put more work into my look. And, every time.
On a level of 1 to busted, how did you look on that first night?
Oh my God, I'll send you a picture. Well, thank God I was very thin and youthful looking already. I would say if the camera was not in focus, I looked like a 4. But if it was in focus, it was probably like a 2 or a 3. And that's being generous, truly.
Oh, wait, 1. 1 is good. In
one is
my
good?
meter, yeah.
Okay, let me try, because you're in London, and so it's not metric or whatever. I do metric. Okay, so
we're carrying over the 3, and then we're adding on the remainder.
We're taking away 5. So if I was going to be honest, I would say I was an 8. If 10 is the worst, I think I was an 8. That's being generous.
That's not so bad.
Yeah, for your first time. I mean, if it's your first time in drag, you can look as busted as you want. It takes a lot of courage just to even try.
And this is the thing, so I'm gonna start sounding old timey now, but in the olden days, before the social media saturation, it was fine if you looked busted because no one had any receipts and you could just learn as you went.
Well, that's the thing is you don't know what you don't know, and truly, you can watch all the videos in the world. You truly don't know what your face and your features are gonna look like. So yeah, you're gonna be busted the first time, but there's power in that. Yeah. And here's the thing: you can look super busted. Straight people, and I'm sorry to do a blanket statement, but straight people do not notice the difference, and they do not care. If you are in drag in any capacity, they will go hype on you. They love it. They do not care.
And you're not like being specific about the gender of these heterosexual people.
Yeah.
Just any heterosexual person.
Well, probably ladies, but any heterosexual person. Yeah. They're like, it's like clowns to them. I kind of feel like I actually do well. Like I've said 1,000 times, I do bingo a lot, and mostly it's for like straight neighborhood people who aren't in spaces with drag queens a lot. And I like to think that we're like Barney. We're big, we're colorful, we're funny, we're non-threatening. The guys don't think we're gonna hit on that. Well, I mean, I do hit on them just for fun, but we're non-threatening, we're silly, we're clowns. It's fun. I like to think of myself as popular among straight people. It's like kind of like the gateway drag.
Yeah, they're my big audience. And so you did your first performance at Roscoe's.
Yes, yeah. My first time in an amateur competition was at Roscoe's, and then Spin started one, and that's where I kind of met some friends that we started doing drag together. So we would kind of haunt Spin.
So what
regularly
happens? So when you go to like an amateur night, do you dress in drag before you go out, or is there a dressing room there?
Yes. Usually we would do it for amateur nights. You do it at home, and then you show up. At that time, you had to show up with your CD. It's a compact disc. It's for your listeners. It's like a small record.
So what is it?
And
so how does it work?
They have like a tiny record player, and then you give them the CD, and when it's your turn, they just like turn the record on. I'm not sure how it works actually, but
there's lasers involved, isn't there?
Lasers, yeah, laser disc. You give them your laser disc, and then if you win a little money, yeah. And then sometimes if you won, I know at Spin, if you won, usually we would be able to come back and be a part of the actual show. And there was dressing rooms, but the dressing rooms were like, if you're lucky, they blocked off the downstairs bathroom. If not, mostly you were just in a basement with all these like soda machines making noises, trash,
pallets of cans and bottles of beer, and
yes, yeah, very glamorous, very glamorous. One card table with a mirror turned on its side, a long mirror, no lights, lots of smells.
Ooh, talk to me about the smells.
No, can we not? I just blocked them out of my memory.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
So, and then, like getting ready in drag at home, getting in a taxi, maybe?
Oh my God, yes. At the time I did have a car. So sometimes I would get ready. If I could get a friend or a roommate to drive me, that is my preference. That was my preference. This was really even before Uber and Lyft in Chicago, or at least before I could afford it. But sometimes I would get ready. I would get ready at home to the best of my ability, and I would drive there, and I would be nervous at the time. I'd be like, oh my God, I hope I don't get pulled over. I hope I don't, because I'm in full drag. I would get in full. I'm very much like if I can, I will get in full drag from the time I leave my house until the time I come back. I don't really like to carry a lot of bags, so that's why I do that.
Practical. And then so what is that feeling then when you like aren't used to being in drag, but you're going out in public in drag?
It was kind of thrilling. It was kind of thrilling to kind of present in this fabulous, exuberant way, and people people definitely treat you different, not to be self-deprecating, but hot guys who would never look at you before look at you differently, and they want to talk to you and be your friend and buy you drinks. And I remember one time specifically, though, I wanted to go see a friend's show like an hour away in Indiana. I live in Illinois. And I also wanted to do the amateur drag competition that night. So I just got dressed in my theater finest and I went to this small community, like regional community theater in Indiana. And I saw 42nd Street in full drag, sitting in the audience in like a beautiful, like very Lisa Rinna cheetah wrap dress. And I'm sure I looked so busted, but it was very thrilling. It was very exciting to get to do that. And they were all old people anyway, so I figured they couldn't see me.
So were you one of those annoying people who sat in front of someone and then had this massive hair?
No, I didn't know about hair yet, so it was definitely a flat shake and go. I did feel bad, though. I was like, I am sticking out like a sore thumb. I was even like, I wonder if the actors can see me, because I definitely am pulling focus. At least I'm trying to.
Is it not, like, do you, sorry, I'm just asking like really basic questions.
I love it.
Do you, like, when you have a wig on, are you not like super aware of the fact that you have a wig on? Like, how could you sit through a show with a wig on?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sure I was uncomfortable. In fact, I know I was, because I was in the full thing. I don't know that I knew about corsets yet, so I don't think I was wearing a corset. But I was definitely wearing tights. That's uncomfortable. I was definitely wearing heels.
Oh, yeah. What are tights like?
Have you never tried them?
No.
They're awful.
But is it not like... Oh.
It's terrible, because not only, I mean, when you do it, a lot of girls wear a lot of pairs of tights, so it smooths out any lines and smushes things down, you know, like pads.
Like what things?
Genitalia, any kind of protrusion. So a lot of people, you wear like 3 or 4 or 5 upwards of that number of tights, but it squishes your toes. So by the end of the night, your toes are like curled. It's awful.
But why? Why does it do that?
Because they're so tight and they're pulling, and you're wearing so many pairs.
And you can't just like trim the toes off, can you? Because then it will all start to...
I guess some people do. There's got to be a way around it. I just do it. Now I do it where I don't, I wear big skirts and dresses, so I don't have to wear that many. And I just shave my legs.
And so... Okay, so you've got in a car, someone's driven you there, walking through the door into spin. What happens?
Well, there's a bouncer and a person that checks your ID. And I think towards the beginning...
How does that work for a drag queen?
I know, I always think about that. It's like, if you're in drag, they don't really check. I mean, luckily I was of age. But, yeah.
But how do they even know it's you?
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I guess if they really care, they can ask me something. I don't think they did. And then, of course, after a while, once I was there for a long time. But the first time, I think they probably would check my ID, and I would get annoyed because I'm very impatient. And I'm a beautiful drag queen, so, like, let me in. Spin used to have dollar drink nights, which are why probably we went there so much. Every drink, like literally, you could get a drink for $1 and as many as you wanted, like a well mixed cocktail. Yeah, walking in, there's a bar on the right. There's videos playing, like music videos, which were fine. But then there was another bar on the other side, and that's where the dance floor and the stage was. Mm-hmm. And there were stairs over here that when I first started going there, the stairs just went up to like nothing. That area wasn't open. Stairs to my right. But it was all about going in the back, in the dark room where there was no windows, and it was like dance floor. There was another bar. There was a stage. Yeah.
Oh, so it's pretty big.
It was big. Yeah. And if you were checking in for the drag like show, sometimes you could be able to go even down the stairs into the basement where they had bathrooms and hang out and get ready down there.
And so do you just like rock up and just say like, I want to perform tonight. Here's my CD. Here's my name. And then your name just gets
Yeah.
called out. So it's just like an open mic night.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what was your first performance?
Oh God. I think I did Jessie J, Mama Knows Best, which at the time I was super into Jessie J. I think that was like her first or second album. I was super into that song. It was okay. It went fine. I don't think it was the most popular single off the album. But of course, I'm theater. I'm like, can you just, why isn't everyone gagging over this amazing voice that I'm not even singing to? So that was, it was probably met, but I think the first time there was like 5 girls there. Yeah, there were, because there was 5 girls, and then it was fine. It was all about audience applause, right? Yeah. Whoever did the best, got the audience, whatever, cheered the most for. But I did Mama Knows Best, and then the second round you had to spin the wheel, and the wheel landed on a number, and the number corresponded to a song, and they would just start playing, and you would just have to lip sync it. And I got Firework by Katy Perry, and that's when I really came alive, because I knew it, I knew the words, and I was just kind of like acting. You might even be able to see this on YouTube. Please, nobody go try to find it.
So were you acting as the plastic bag?
Yeah, I was. And thank you for knowing that. I was light. I was floating through the air. I was kind of getting caught up in the trees. It was fun. It was really a beautiful moment.
And what logo did you have on you?
Thank you. It was just where it says thank you over and over again.
Oh, okay. So yeah, like some kind of generic dollar store.
Like a takeout bag. Yeah. I imagine if I was a plastic bag, I would be a takeout bag that says thank you a lot.
Do you think there might be an online quiz that will determine this once and for all?
I think that we probably just created one. And BuzzFeed should hit us up.
Yes. We could get on their payroll coming up with quizzes. What
kind
of plastic bag are you?
Yeah. The options are thank you. And then the Subway one that's too thin for anything except for a Subway bag.
Oh, do you have the Subway ones that are just like long?
Yeah, they're like almost newspaper plastic bags. Yeah. Like they just fit a sandwich and maybe a bag of chips. And if you dare even try, this is a message to any Subway workers that may be listening to your show. If you ever deign to put my cold soda bottle into the bag with my hot sandwich,
what?
I won't do anything, but I will go home and be mad. And I will take it right back out of the bag.
But
right?
There's so many risks.
You're squishing the sandwich. You're making my hot sandwich cold with my cold soda bottle, and you're weighing it down. No, just give me the bottle.
Oh, okay. So it's a bottle. Okay. Sorry, I was getting confused.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a cup with the plastic lid on it, and I was thinking that lid's going to come off. It's going to go everywhere. But it's a bottle. I'm okay with it. Carry on, Subway workers.
Absolutely not. We're okay. We're fighting.
Do you wonder? You know how there's those plastic bags that are for wrapping paper.
Oh, like the
a roll.
Sheet.
Yeah, like a roll, like to put a wrapping paper roll in. I'm not gonna let's not labor this. You don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh no, I don't think we. Do you mean like the shrink wrap that goes directly over it, or do they put it in a?
Yeah. So like a Christmas,
or like an umbrella bag where you put your wet umbrella.
Yeah.
Oh, would that be you?
Yeah, that's where I was headed. Yeah.
You look very tall and slender.
And useless for most of the year.
But you catch a lot of water when your umbrella's wet.
Do you have this, I don't know if it's, where have I seen it? Like in like shopping malls or anything where it wraps it for you now? You put your umbrella in and it wraps it when you come in?
No.
It's like fabulous. So wasteful. Yeah. Like this,
Well,
like when you go to the airport and they've got like the machines that just wrap your suitcase in cellophane like 100 million times.
I might have seen that on the internet. I've never experienced it firsthand.
I just don't get it. Like, just buy a padlock.
Oh yeah, that makes
Anyway,
sense.
anyway,
Well, we're gonna come out with a line of padlocks and plastic bags, and we'll talk to BuzzFeed and we'll see if they can afford us.
what's our logo gonna be?
I have some options. I can DM them after.
Baka? How do we get our initials to make a word? A back?
A back.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, we'll
workshop that.
We'll
Yeah,
get
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
We'll get it into some kind of state at some point. And so you came alive during firework.
I came alive during firework, and I said, you know what? This is my destiny. I am going to be a brilliant drag performer, and I'm going to bring my theater background into it. And that night, I won second place. I had maybe brought my one friend with me, but I won the audience over, and I got second place, which at the time was $100, which is a lot of money for a poor American dollars. Yeah. So a lot of money.
What did you think I thought you meant when you said $100?
I just need to clarify you're in London. I mainly am clarifying for your American listeners because we're dumb.
Okay.
No, it was, and then that was kind of like, I kind of took that as a sign, like, ooh, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to get first place and I'm going to keep going.
And who did get first place? And do we need to send hate their way?
I don't remember, so it probably wasn't anybody that we need to send hate.
They're just a flash in the pan. Yeah. They suck.
Yeah. No.
No. Yeah, no?
No. We don't need to worry about that.
But so this wheel, okay. So was this a regular fixture?
Yes, and actually, I know that I'm here to talk about spin, but I should clarify. I should clarify that was at Roscoe's.
Oh, okay.
The wheel was at Roscoe's. I'm sorry, I led you down a path. Spin had its own beautiful fixtures too. They had dollar drink night. They had a night, and actually, as I was becoming more and more a spin regular, a regular contest entrant, they started booking some of the girls that would do well to be shot girls, and we would walk around on Saturday nights in drag with a tray of fireball flavored ice cream shots. They would have like
what does a fireball taste like? Is that a drink that I don't know
about? Fireball is a spicy cinnamon whiskey.
Okay.
And it's very much, it goes back and forth in America of being like a fun thing that we like to do ironically, and also like a trashy thing. Like, how could you drink that? That's garbage. Because it's truly it's a cinnamon whiskey. It's like, yeah. Cinnamon whiskey, like Red Hots.
Yeah.
And they would put it in a soft serve machine. We would do it. The drag queens would pour jugs of it into a soft serve ice cream machine. And then we would squirt it out and we would put it in little cups and we would take them around, and I think we would sell them for $1 as well. They loved dollar bills there. And what would happen is we'd do one tray, we'd get drunk, we'd go back up to the little ice cream area, and we would just like drink and kiki, and sometimes we would just do like, I'm putting for the readers at home, I'm doing a acting move where I'm pulling the soft serve ice cream thing and letting it like drip into my mouth. That's what we would do.
I don't think you're doing the drip into your mouth thing, but
Here.
Enough. Can you do it again?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, I get it now. But so okay. So this is me and worrying too much. But how stressful is it carrying a tray of glasses in a sweaty, horrible?
They didn't trust us with glasses. These were paper cups. These were paper cups.
Okay. Tiny little shot cups.
Tiny little shot cups. Sometimes they would have actual cones, like ice cream cones, like tiny mini ones. And we would put those in like a handler. It was a little stressful because there were stairs involved and I was in heels. I think I would do roller skates at that point sometimes. So here's my thing is I'm lazy at heart and I don't like to wear heels for a very long time. But I don't really want to wear flats publicly. So I'll wear roller skates, which are basically flats with wheels. And I will just be in roller skates. And I have decent balance. So I would just be in roller skates all night.
And you've always stayed upright?
Yeah, actually, yeah. When I'm just standing or moving about, I'm fine. 2 times I have fallen on my face in roller skates. During performances, because sometimes
were any of them at Spin? Should we talk about them?
No, I will say this isn't really my story, but I saw it happen. There was a girl there, and she was drunk, and in between the first bar and the back dance bar I mentioned, there were 2 steps up, and she was kind of bobbling around drunk, and then I looked at her and she was kind of standing there, and then I looked away and I heard a thud. She had fallen and cracked her tooth a little bit onto the stairs. Like her face hit the stairs and it was really scary. And she chipped her tooth. She's fine now. She still does drag, but that was a night. There was lots of nights like that because the drinks were all $1 there. We would just go there and get drunk, and sometimes we would perform, sometimes we wouldn't. They did this, and it wasn't for drag queens. They did a shower contest, I think on Wednesdays, when they would bring an actual shower, like something you might find in a trailer or a cabin. It was like a plastic 2 walls and then like a tray underneath, and they would hook up a shower head on the top of the stage, and people would go in there and do a dancing contest. They would sometimes do it mostly in their underwear. I did it once where I did it in drag. I was the first person to ever do it in drag, and I wore a bathing suit and like a swim cap, and I brought an umbrella with me, and I just opened the umbrella under the shower, and I like sprayed the audience, but they loved it. That was really fun. I do miss that. It was very much like late 90s, early 2000s, like stuff you can't really get away with now because everyone's PC, and as we should be, but like wet t-shirt contests and wet white underwear contests and things that don't really fly anymore. That was very much Spin.
And everyone was too drunk to object. And you said before that through Spin, you made a community of friends.
Yeah. One night I was there just kind of supporting, and during the amateur drag contest, I wasn't performing, but I was there out of drag, and I saw this girl, and she was really funny, and she was really beautiful, and I was like, I went up to her and I was like, oh my God, I loved you. You were so great. And she was like, wait, I know you. We go to college together. I was like, what? She's like, Nate. And I was like, oh my God, of course I know you. What? And then she was like, here, come meet my friends. And I went over, and there was a group of girls, and we were all like in the beginning stages of playing with drag. And so I just we all started hanging out together. It was very much the blinds leading the blind. None of us knew what we were doing. None of us had any inclination of how to do drag well or makeup or anything. But we all hung out together and got drunk. And there was even a time when when I did not ever sign off on this name, but I didn't not sign off. So whatever, but we called ourselves the Drag Mafia. I know your face looks embarrassed for me, and it's good. It was embarrassing.
No. I mean, it's not embarrassing, but like, why are you? I mean, no.
Yeah. Well, Mafia denotes like. To me, Mafia denotes like we are the baddest bitches, and we weren't. We were like the Teletubbies going around telling everyone we were the Sopranos. Like, it was terrible. Very, very current references for you there. But we were having a lot of fun. And I still talk to some of the girls. I think they all have quit drag except for me. And then the girl that chipped her tooth, she still does drag. But everyone else has stopped.
And why do you think that is?
I think probably it's a mixture of a bunch of different things. Like, I think quite a few of them moved away to LA to pursue different variations of being in Hollywood and that life. I think the others just kind of realized, like, to actually do drag, it's a lot of investing money and time.
Mm-hmm.
Or just the kind of the newness and the funness wore off. I don't know.
So what kept you at it?
I love kind of being in charge of my own. I loved the creativity. I liked exploring the more femme side of me. So I think that's what kept it going. But I also kind of have always known that, like, this, without being so dramatic, I was like, this is what I need to be doing. I need to be performing and telling stories. And I thought I was going to do that by doing theater, but this is kind of a quicker way for me to get there.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to exploring my gender expression, which now I'm still exploring, but I've been able to make drag a job, my profession. So yeah. And also always learning, like, every time you do your makeup is a lesson. I've been doing a lot of hair, especially during this quarantine. I've been taking some online classes, and then I got a sewing machine. I've been sewing. So it's just kind of like I'm a curious and artistic person, but there's just so much to explore and learn. So I think that's what's kept me doing it. Also, I've learned that I have zero patience when with authority figures and with anyone else. So I think I'm like, okay, I have to make this work because I can't work for other people for more than 6 months. Terrible.
But in doing that and having to hustle all the time, has there ever been times when you've just been like, ugh, I'm used up, I'm done?
No, no. And for me, it's because whenever I would feel like that, I would say, it'd be like, okay, I'm sick of makeup. Let me do this. Let me try hair. Let me try and focus on hair. And, then I would churn out a bunch of wigs, or I would start sewing more and churn out sewing. There's just so many different areas of, well, let me think. I'm sure there have been. No, I can say honestly, I haven't ever been burnt out on drag. I've been burnt out just kind of hustle wise when I've had to work other jobs. Like, I worked at a lot of coffee shops throughout all of this, and I worked at a salon once, and that was great for, it was decent money, and it was fun to get, like, free manicures. But other than that, it was the worst job I've ever had in my entire life. So drag is kind of my retreat. Like, when I'm burnt out on other things, I like to come and focus on, okay, I'm going to sew. I don't want to sew. I'm going to do hair. I don't want to do hair. I'm going to do nails or jewelry or, sing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So how did spin help you develop your profession, your talent?
Well, I got to know how bars work. We spent a good 2 or 3 years there. I would say weekly. Me and the Drag Mafia. We got kind of like, there was a couple of times when they needed extra security for Pride, or, I did that once. That was fun.
What, you were security?
Yeah, they were like, we need an extra person for tonight. And I'm like, I'll do it if it's paid. Mostly I just checked IDs at the door, and I put ice in the urinals, which was fun for me.
I mean, fun. What a way to make the venue secure. Ice in the urinals. But like, you you don't have training to be a security person. What would have happened if something went wrong?
You know what? I have a strange confidence in my self when it comes to de-escalating situations, which I probably shouldn't have. But yeah, I feel like I'm. I don't know. Truthfully, if anything really happened, I probably would have been like, "Should I do something? Like, should we do something?" Like security.
Where's
guard
the
outfit,
ice?
like, yeah. Oh, that's funny to think about.
Anyway, sorry, that's me being super cautious.
I love it. Well, let me see. To answer your question about how it furthered, I mean, I got to work with some cool people at the time. Speaking of season 4, Dita Ritz, now a friend, I would say, but she was just gotten back from Drag Race, and Spin was kind of her home bar for a little bit, and she would host some of the drag competitions, Dragzilla, which is one that she hosted, and just getting to be around her. Fifi O'Hara, formerly known as Fifi O'Hara, Just Jeremy, he was a Spin girl before he got on Drag Race. So getting these like glimpses and getting to share a dressing room with them every once in a while was really cool. And you got to kind of pick up tips and see how the girls worked. Not monetary tips, like educational tips, but see how the girls worked and how they behaved. And I definitely consider getting a lesson from them, Dita, especially on professionalism and how to conduct yourself, even when even when times got messy and and they did. The drinks were only $1, so there were plenty of messy times.
Oh, tell me about it.
Oh my God. I mean, I'm trying to think. I wish I had anything really juicy. I shared a little bit of juice before we started recording on another bar, but
and don't worry, I'll put that in the show notes.
Put that in the show notes. I don't remember. Maybe I was just too. Honestly, I think I would get just so wasted, and then I don't remember any of the messiness. I don't think I was ever asked to leave that bar, but I know for sure some of my Drag Mafia sisters were just get like wasted and be asked to leave
by the security guard Alexis Bevels.
By me, I was security, so I would have to say, "Hey, do you mind if you could you just come with me?"
And so, do you remember hearing about it closing?
Yeah. Wow. God, when was that? Well, I know on a personal journey, like I was starting to get booked in other bars right when we heard about Spin closing. And when it closed, it actually stayed a gay nightclub. Now I think it's a restaurant. But at the time it
gay
changed
restaurant or
no, just a regular. It's in like the gay area, but yeah, now I think I had just started getting booked in other places. So I was kind of exploring, like my world was opening up and like getting actual work rather than just amateur contests. And then it changed to, it was like a compound. And then it changed to like 3 different clubs. And there was still a little work to be had there, but it wasn't quite as bopping. And I think it was called Whiskey Trust for a second. It was all Spin, and then it became Whiskey Trust, Chloe's, and oh my God, the
other one, the third one.
The Den. There was 3 levels. And then that closed, I think, after like a year or maybe even 2 years. And then it tried to become this bar called 7 for a little bit. And then it finally shut down and it became it's a Furious Spoon now, which is like a pho restaurant, I think.
What is it called?
Pho? Like PHO.
Oh, I see. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
That isn't it pronounced huh?
Pho. Well, and you, pho. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been there. It's a chain restaurant.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So you were kind of in a place where you were taking it for granted when it closed. You were a bit like, take or leave.
No, I wouldn't say that. It was just more like, oh, I can do this in other places. It was really sad, actually. A lot of one of the bars that I was previously getting hired at, Sidetrack, which is now no longer a place I affiliate with, but at the time, a lot of those workers, when Spin closed, went to Sidetrack, which was down the street, and it's like a video bar. It's huge. It's one of the biggest, I think, in America. It's like 7 bars in one.
What?
Yeah, a lot of people went there. So I kind of, a lot of them worked. A lot of the people that worked at Spin, I still worked with after, and a lot of them are great people.
And so, like, what was the deal then? So Spin closed, and then, like, was it just that there was a change of owner, and therefore a change of name?
I think it was a change of staff and change of name. I'm assuming the owner changed. I don't really know. I don't really know a lot about that. My friend James, he does like tours, like tours of like the gay neighborhood. I should ask him because he knows. But yeah, I remember there was, after Spin closed, there was kind of a vie for who was going to get to be the next like house queen. And it was Pride, and they were like giving a bunch of different queens shows here and there to kind of try out and see who would be the best.
So a house queen is what? Like the main queen associated with the bar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the one who hosts everything. Yeah.
Okay.
One of our Drag Mafia sisters, who doesn't do drag anymore, she got the chance to do it, but it was Pride. We were all drunk, and it was it ended up being just a horrible mess. She loved her so much. Her drag name was Specificity Jones. Rolls right off the tongue, right?
Mm-hmm.
She got super drunk and wasn't able to host. So it was kind of any dreams that we had of having the Drag Mafia take that bar were dashed.
Damn you, Specificity.
I know. It's probably for the best. Love to her.
Oh, so she was your great hope, and everyone pinned.
Yeah, she fucked it up.
Fuck.
Oh, can I cuss?
She fucked you. I mean, think where you could be now.
I could be the owner of Furious Spoon if she had just no, it was fun.
Running your little mafia activities from there.
Yeah, out of the back of a restaurant. Yeah.
Did you ever go to Spin? Well, if you did, I would love to hear more about it. Find me on social media. My profile name is usually K Anderson Music, and that's across Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. Tell me what you got up to there. Lost Spaces is not only a podcast, but a concept record as well. I've been writing songs about queer venues and the people who used to live their lives there, and will be releasing songs over the coming year. You can hear the first single, which is called Well Groomed Boys, and is playing underneath my talking right now on all good streaming platforms. If you enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate if you subscribed, left a review on Apple Podcasts, or just told people who you think might be interested in giving it a little listen too. I am Kay Anderson, and you have been listening to Lost Spaces.